So I think the idea is to hurt me so bad that I don't come back. And that's been the idea with everybody leaving at the same time. Being that it was my own brothers working within the syndicate in the first place. And then it leading into Jesse Lee. And Jesse Lee to hurt me like whatever, man. I'll never get my life back. That's what it's to suggest. And what most people don't understand is that I was homeless for 12 years. And in that 12 years, I was being poisoned. It just didn't happen to me. It's just not something that happens to somebody. Call up from that. Get your own place. Live 2 blocks away from your murderer friend. See how you feel with him coming into your place. Going through all of your stuff. Gaslighting your reality. Being denied by the police. You know, and that's just what people don't understand. The goal is to have continued control of my reality. To make me go against who I am. Which was done by poisons. To basically take the self-will out of a man and get them to do their bidding for themselves. Get me to do their own bidding. Or create a problem within me that just can't go away. It's like taking a person's life and making them look crazy. And obviously I look tired as shit. I just woke up. You know, they have a really good knowledge of the gamier stuff in life. And basically, it's like someone snakes you. And you're snaked in the worst way, right? And they make their point clear. They don't care. They never did. And their clear point is deadlier than deadly. And they're dedicated to it. The devastation that they create. They use reverse psychology, doublespeak, and double-mindedness. Suggested clearly in the Bible. They don't want you to turn out a certain way. They want you to turn out a whole certain way. But covertly, they've been working on me since I was a little baby. I'm not saying Jesse Lee. I'm saying that the demon that was embedded into my brothers. The demon that continued throughout my life. The idea is I don't ever get to get out of this. Live my own life. Do what I wanted to do. And it didn't matter if it was playing the drums, working at McDonald's, paper mill, or anything. Just like I said, anything. It's to game up literally every aspect of my life. Mirror my phones, hack my reality, even taking away evidence from my own computer. And each one of their characters plays the role. Each one of their job description plays the role. Who these people are, who they are and who they were to me. So let's turn that on. It's about testing on an unwitting partner. I am a victim, but the fact of the matter is it was suggested to me when I was younger, nobody likes a victim. In other words, you don't talk about this stuff. You don't speak out about such things. This was my own oldest brother. It's a complete waste of human potential to target somebody. Those of us who are unwitting victims of this monstrous crime against us, where it leads into other people's thought process. As though, I'm just crazy and I'm sorry, I'm in immense pain. But where it comes from, when you learn that after a bunch of patterns of abuse, after everything almost completely flopped you to the ground, and then they're surprised that you're even calling that next day. Like my middle brother, oh yeah, he was surprised I was even able to get up that next day. As was I. But you find out it's coming from people that were supposed to love you and be your support system. Not some random bozo, but they do have random people all throughout your life. It's just unconscionable, but who is there to protect us? Not to mention, it's inconceivable to even us at first. So not only is it inconceivable to us, it's very inconceivable to the people in your community, the people around you. No one can even think that their own could even treat them this way. So the rest of the public's awareness of this type of crime, it just doesn't exist. It can't exist. The only thing that can exist is how you respond to it, being mentally ill, basically. It's basically creating a criminal or creating a crime by controlling and breaking a person. But it's straight up tactics from the Cold War. Mapping out your ambitions, targeting you in your love life, and leaving the victim desolate in their living conditions. Not just within their life, their resources, their home life, but in their own minds. Because people don't understand that these things were meant to break me and flop me down to the ground, dead, as I was realizing these things. It's utilizing everything and anything to brainwash its victim, wash them straight out of themselves. And when you realize these things happening to at least the degree of repeating in your own mind and in your own outbursts of such a heart-wrecking place to be in, you believe that your better interest in mind would be to secretly work on yourself. So you do. But they've been secretly invested in working to deceive you, you see? And deceive you and leave you for dead or bleeding out. set me up in my case to die. In my case, it was setting me up to die. So I had to repeat in my head, I had to repeat that they're poisoning me. Who is poisoning you? Jesse and Aurelia. They're poisoning me to death. Who is poisoning you to death? Jesse Lee and Aurelia. You're being poisoned. Who is poisoning you? Jesse Lee and Aurelia. They're poisoning you. Who is poisoning you? Jesse Lee and Aurelia. If you don't get away from these people, you're gonna end up dead. You're gonna end up dead if you don't get away from these people. Who are these people? What were they doing? This is the thing that I had to go through driving home to get through the abuse of arsenic, or I was gonna have my mind washed again. Washed completely again. So that's when my first work was, I need to learn how to speak. My first work was, if I don't learn how to speak and get this stuff out on paper, I'm never going to learn how to speak it. And so I needed to write. I needed to continuously write. I needed to continuously to scream out. They stole my journal out of my computer. Not being in front of my computer, hacking me. And this, I believe, was Jesse Lee. Not only got that, but my old Facebook account, my old Gmail account, and my phone number. All right after that, they were targeting me through strangers. And these strangers got what they wanted, an accident. And especially right after I had just dumped $8 grand into my car. I was working tooth and nail to get out from underneath this abuse. And then I get into this place and I'm thinking that this abuse is going to be over. Well, I didn't have my memories, because if I had, I would not have moved here. Or not have moved close to this man. No, not at all. Jesse Lee is a complete snake. He's a complete farce of a man. I don't care who he works for. I don't care if he works with the police. I don't care if he works with the CIA. I don't care how he works. He is a complete snake of a man. But their whole ideas were to leave me unwittingly taxed with poisons and other ways, just emotionally derailing you, gaslighting you, psychologically manipulating you. But it's harnessing the whole plan in order to break me spiritually and physically, to cover up their own crimes against me, because obviously if I would have flopped that day and died, and I didn't move differently from going from thinking that these people would have had my back to thinking these are the people that are doing it to you, and if you don't move away from them, and you can't move away from them, look, I already called my autonomy back from them 8 months prior, 9 months prior. They wouldn't leave me alone. I deserved my autonomy. And then they want to psychologically mess me up and cover up their crimes against me by leaving me for dead. Because their crimes against me were dating through the demon that's in vicariously one person to the next. All the way back from being a little baby. Controlling and breaking a person, just like the CIA used to. Only this was controlling every avenue of my life to make and create a criminal out of them without ever having to touch a hand on them. So in my case, yeah, I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself. You don't want to take these thoughts and become the felon, because that's exactly what they want you to do is falter and flop. Not only flop to the signs that you're reasoning through, but they want to break you completely. They don't care about you. They don't care about you at all. The reason that they can't care about you at all is because they need you dead. You're the last testimony to testify against my father. You're the last person that would testify against my brothers doing this to me, poisoning me. You're the last one to testify against all these people that were involved in the crime. So there's just no empathy. And it's a stricken contrast between those with natural empathy and those who conceivably and completely lack it. None. There's clear differences between how you're aware and how it boils down to how people communicate. You're aware of it, and sure, it might have taken you a long time, but some of the phrases that subtly lack their concern for emotions, while others just flat out intensify those emotions. It's insensitive to the likeness of anyone where there's clear intent involved, and not only for a person for whatever the reason is. It's, one thing you'll hear is that I don't see why so and so would do this to you. I don't see I don't see what you're saying to be truthful, or oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Completely invalidating your emotional responses. So and so wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that to you. Oh, they wouldn't, huh? That's why they couldn't talk to me about it with their very own words. That's why they had to hang up on me and never talk to me again. Block me, blacklist me, blackball me. Are you kidding me? And then it's phrases where you are basically put off having shown that you have no empathy and they have all of the empathy for you. No, they don't. People who love you show up different. People who love you show up different, and it feels different when they do show up for you different. Because they're going to show up for you and help you, sit there with you, and work things out with you, not run away from you. Only a real man is going to stay and face that. These aren't real men. Real men don't run away. So it's to step on my toes all throughout my life, suggesting to what's going on, but to an unwitting party, it might look the way they need it to look. To an unwitting party, much like my own self, is going to steal your ability to comprehend what's reality, what's really going on. Not to mention my perspective on anything, to leave me invalidated, emotionally or available for them to be, and leave me emotionally detached. Second is they'll be like that. Oh, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. Just to completely invalidate you as well, leave you unheard. Where what might not seem like a big deal to one is a huge deal to another. Might not be significant to you, but it's very significant to me. Where they're constantly leaving me misread in order to consistently go unheard. Saying things like, you should see how he fights so dirty. That's twisting it all up around, because I was being poisoned. I was being poisoned as an unwitting victim of not only my brothers, not only my dad, but then by Jesse, others growing up, I'm sure, around in high school. But it's to leave your experience unnerved, where you're absolutely feeling like you need to be heard. You don't know exactly the words to say, and even from being a little baby, what all of a sudden you're gonna know all of these big words, right? When you're 5 years old, being poisoned off. Bullshit. And then you're just not being taken seriously at all. Another way that people will completely invalidate you in conversation and show no empathy is that everyone feels that way. We're all going through that. We're all being poisoned. Everyone feels this way. Where they generalize your emotions as the emotions of others in order to downplay and dismiss and minimize your emotional experiences and emotional response to what's happened. And another one, it leaves your experiences completely invalidated, and your experiences often leading to you feeling isolated, completely misunderstood, completely misread, minimized, deflected on, silenced. Like you don't have the right to speak out. Like you don't have the right. Shut off your Heartworks channel. Just shut it off. Oh, what good is that going to do me? You guys moved me around, pushed me around, did this, that, and the other. Now I can't even have a McDonald's job or a paper mill job. I can't now play my own drums. I might not get any of my things moving forward, right? But I'm the one that's supposed to be crazy made by these very covert, malignant, nice narcissists. And this one's a huge red flag when someone just simply says, well, get over it. It's hurtful and dismissive when a person's emotional state has no grounds to bear witness to their own struggles of grief, bear witness to their own struggles of unwitting people coming inside of their lives to keep them detained in their mind, detained in their life. But that's just it. Someone told me there's no timetables to grief. You go through the grief, and it's how you deal with it. It's how you manage your own grief and your own pain. It's not how these people want to portray to you that you're supposed to manage your own pain and your own grief, as to simply say, well, just get over it, just move on. Yeah, well, that's what someone told me right after my best friend had died. They know who they are. My oldest brother. What was it, like 2 months? Just get over it, like, it's time to move on. Yeah, maybe you can move on from what my experiences are, but I can't. Not after what's been done to me. But in other words, it just tells you that you should simply move past without or you should move past them, especially without addressing it to them or with them, which is, in my own opinion, detrimental to my emotional health. Instead of being there for a person, to allow them the time that they need in order to just say getting over it is somehow a simple thing, when it's not always so easy. And in all honesty, that pain still hurts. I still wonder why. I still feel mad at God. Why? Why, God? Why? And then it's like others will say is like, why can't you just be happy? Why can't you just have faith and move on with the Lord? Do you don't think that that's what's actually gotten me out of a lot of this pain? Is the Lord. But the Lord doesn't promise us safekeeping. He promises us a sword. He doesn't promise us peace. He promises us that He's going to give us a sword. As was said in Isaiah, where you're just already in a way where the simplest tasks to you have become a nightmare. You're grief-stricken. And it's the onslaught of this abuse that's made it clear that you're a victim of a crime that's being suggested at large again and again, and you're just told, just get over it, just move on. Why can't you just be happy? If you can't just have faith and trust, per se, in the Lord, then I don't know what to do with you. Because all of my closest friends and family have high faith in God, high trust and belief in God. And grief is not as always as easy as just saying it like that. I'm not saying that these people have no value of empathy, but their empathy towards the situation that I'm living within is broken. And I think for a lot of them, it needs to be broken. So it's a hard place to comment on because it's matters they bring that really just turn it around and make matters worse. And then they could go so far as to say, at times, it could be worse. I almost just died covertly however many times, flopping to the ground, not knowing and having my memories being erased from me. And then, on top of it, I'm being gate-kept in such a way from not being able to speak out about it. And I had to move differently in order to keep myself alive just to be able to speak at all. But it could be worse. Yeah, you're right. I could be dead. I could have been not only covertly aimed at to be murdered, but I could have been covertly aimed at to actually get murdered. Not the attempted murders, the many attempts on my life, but one of these attempts could have worked. Like they had wanted it to. In order to completely do the identity theft. And another big one, and this was my oldest brother again, and others. Well, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. It was both my brothers, actually. Taking very low empathy towards you with accurate reasons of their own. It implies that the person's emotions on the matter that you're speaking on is an inconvenience to them, and you're bringing this up as not worth their time to address it. When they may even play a vital role in the pain that you're enduring, it's dismissive. It's hurtful. It minimizes your experiences. It's silencing you in front of others, especially in front of others, to reach their own importance of the matter more than your own mental health and well-being is of any importance at all. And that's for a very important role. It plays a very important key. Because your mental health is going to go to shit. You're not going to be able to do anything that you love. You're not going to get your love life. You're not going to be able to do what you wanted to do originally within your own life, you see. But that's why I don't have time for this matters, is because they have time for other things. But say in the hacking of me getting or not, in the availability of having been poisoned, not realizing it, but realizing I couldn't barely walk, that I was gonna have to move differently again and figure out what's happening to me, because I didn't feel like it was just my own health deteriorating in Stacy, Minnesota. Oh Lord, please help me get through this. Oh Lord, please help me get through this. I know for myself I would look different. I would respond different. I would be bright and happy with a real support system. Oh my gosh, thank you guys for showing up when I needed you to show up. But the fact of the matter is that it was, I don't have time for this. I can either help you with this right here now, or basically F off. I don't care. That's my brother. Both of my brothers towards me, but that was my middle brother with taking over my computer to show me how he's gonna help me with my own money. And I didn't want to move my own money from Bitcoin into Omnicomp or whatever the fuck. I just didn't see it as valuable. He talked me into it. I actually asked him, "Are you gonna pay for this money? Because this is a lot of money to me. I need this money. If you're gonna be shiesty with me." But then it was just to suggest we all got snaked on that deal. No, we didn't. It was only me that got snaked on that deal, and it was by their intention to. He's moving around the IP address from one place to another. Why do you need to move the IP address multiple times per move? Well, the answer is because he needs to record it and write it down. Record it and write it down. Record it and write it down. So that he remembers exactly where on the blockchain that money went to and where it was and which New York IP address it was on. So that he could go right to the number of the IP address to move it off that blockchain to wherever he wanted it to be. I was completely robbed. And then on top of it, going into the situation where I was at before was to completely use Emily Dodge as an IT professional that was a part of the whole plan. Love bomb me completely and derail my life after having all of my stuff. I'm tired of these calls, man. Granted, I have it set up to where it doesn't stop my recording anymore, but can you tell me what would be worse than having so much attempted murder on your life, where you're just being wiped up out of your skull by covert poisons that you're not even supposed to be able to tell that you're dying? Because that's what the goal was. I told my middle brother that next day, well, I moved differently. I moved differently in order to save my life, knowing that I was going to be set in stages for another attack. I didn't know that it was coming from him. I didn't know that it was coming from others that were close to me. But they were. And that's just the hardest thing to come to terms with. It was the hardest thing to speak out about for me, because I actually loved my people. But now that I feel like I'm gonna absolutely die, do you think I give a fuck? No, I don't. Because I never did have my own life. I've always been dead to who I believe Matthew Murden is. Who I believe that myself is. And I didn't know those things. But that's what the case was. I was going to these people asking, can you help me figure something out? And they would deflect and kind of want to run around having the conversation with me. I'm like, well, it's of a serious matter, dude. A really fucking serious matter in my life. Something is happening to me, and I can't quite see what's going on. It would be nice to have an extra set of eyes and ears around this issue I'm having. Because it's not just a mental health issue, dick. It's not. And to make it that and minimize it that just made me want to smack my brother up across the face on a fucking holiday that I'm supposed to be feeling love towards this man. But is there any love in his chest towards me? No. None. Just wanting to move me around and swiftly get rid of me for the crimes that they had been committing against me. It's unconscionable. It literally breaks a person. And that's the same thing that people did in the Cold War. They utilized their own inhibitions, follow them around, mind map them, to break them in the worst ways possible. And I'm just not supposed to cry about it, right? I lost myself at 5. I lost myself when I was born. My dad fed me poison in a bottle. Or whatever he did, it didn't make me feel right. I never got me. Me would look a whole lot different. I would be strong, buff. I would be able to smile brighter than I'm able to smile at all. And I have a kingdom heart. I would be in a relationship. I'd probably be married and have multiple children. They took away every availability that I had to live my own life. Thank you very much. I woke up just all out of sorts. And it was last night that this ear started hurting. And it's like right on this part right in here, where I had something like, yeah, right there, it's still there. And it just goes all the way up my neck, all the way up here, and just goes right into here. And it just fucking hurts so bad. And so I'm in this situation, I got nothing, and I can't even get the social and human services to give me EBT money. Like, you gotta be kidding me. What do I gotta do to get treated properly anywhere I go in life? It wasn't okay to railroad people normally. Why are they railroading me? Why am I being railroaded like this? I simply do not know what to do. Oh, fuck. And last night I had another experience where it was like I just couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. Not only was I triggered by a video I shared on Facebook, like a section of it, because the way this guy felt dealing with the MK Ultra type of things happening to him, what they did to this guy is bad. But the fact of the matter is that he was an older guy. And I don't know what his whole life was. Maybe it was very similar to mine. But I don't think he had my shared experience of being in that same predicament at 5 years old. No. I can imagine, though. I can imagine. I think that this humanity is completely screwed up. That's what I think. I think that if people are going to actually get their health and their wellness together, they need to cut away from these things. They need to go find their own name some other where. If they want to join the ranks of the society, it's very demonic. But you should be able to grow your own vegetables and herbs and fruits and stuff. You should have your own gardens, and you should grow for healing reasons. Healing not only yourself, but your whole family, your whole community. And if we can't get that help and support out here with what I have dealt with, what do you suggest I do? What do you suggest I do? Because it's just said, no, get help. Well, how does 3 words help me with everything that I've had to suggest online as far as getting the help that I do need? I'm being denied medical care. I'm being denied a process of elimination due to what I have going on. I'm being denied benefits. I'm being denied speaking on a crime anywhere in my life, mind you, not just here, but everywhere. I'm being denied to suggest that this the same crime that's happening to my son in reverse order as what's happened to my best friend, who I was just supposed to... Oh, it's time to move on now, buddy. It's time to move on from that, buddy. Oh, it's so frustrating. I'm gonna try and lay on a hot water bottle. I don't know what to do. I hope that I can get the help that I need, Ayurvedically and holistically, before these people working in allopathic, cartel bullshit, whatever Baphomet little bitches, want to completely riddle me out of any kind of process of elimination to get for me to even just take my health back, detoxify, get the metals out of my body. These people that came up against me in spirit in this way, they deserve war, if you ask me. They deserve literally war. What they've done to me is felonies. I don't even know how you would call them. Multiple. It's like millions. I deserve to be after getting my life back regardless, and getting away from the people that would purport or would play with my life in this kind of fashion. In any way. So if I can get your support out here, that would be really wonderful. Especially if I could get your support creating a campaign for me to suggest helping me out with some money. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you if you made it this far. I love you like crazy. Peace.